Hey guys, you asked me how I created the metal grid and this kind of curves of this hard surface mesh, and I will show you in this video. But before we start, I would like to announce two hard surface modeling courses on Gumroad. First, the Sci-Fi Great Design with Blender by Ponti Rayuro, I hope I pronounced this correctly, and you see the rating. I can also show it's very good. And the other one is about Sci-Fi Mech Design. It's also by him and Josh Gambrell. They're known as the Blender Pros, also an amazing hard surface course. The links can be found in the description below. Okay, so let's continue with my hard surface model. It's made with Blender 2.9 and my free JMesh Tools add-on, and you see it consists of separate objects. It is not textured, I just assigned simple materials with the principled shader. So let's have a look how these more detailed parts are created, this kind of curves and the metal grid. So what I did is I just reverted the project. I removed the parts to build them again. We start with the grid, and what we need for this is a simple plane. I use my JMesh Tools add-on and the primitive mode with the rectangle. I press the F key so that we can start drawing from the center, and then I press Ctrl left click to draw the rectangle, and it should cover the whole area at the front. Okay, just like that. And then I press Alt and M to turn this into a mesh. Alright, now we have the plane with the dimensions we need. Then I move this a bit to the front. And I want it to be metallic, so I assign a steel material. Okay, simple. Now the next step will be to convert the plane into a grid. So right click in edit mode and choose subdivide. And in this pop-up you can define the number of cuts. I think I will add 5 cuts. You can play around with the number 4, 5, or to make it look more dense go up to 6, but I stick to 5. Okay, now we go to face selection. Right click again and then you find poke faces. And after that the grid looks like this, and the only thing we have to do now is to get rid of the triangles. So again I right click and select trees to quads. Great, and now we just have to add a modifier, and this is the wireframe modifier. So go here to the modifier tab and select wireframe. And to look at this, here we have a metal grid. It's very low poly and I want to have it a bit more round, so I go ahead and add another modifier, which is the bevel. I increase the number of segments to, let's say, 3. And this looks great. If you want to have it a bit more thick, you can play around with the thickness parameter of the wireframe modifier. Okay, that's it for the metal grid. Now let's turn to the other detail, the small kind of metallic tubes at the top. First of all, I want to add some connectors here on the left and the right side. So go to the circle primitive and the operation I set to slice. To have it on the left and the right side, I set the mirror to the y-axis and then I Ctrl left click to draw the circles onto the mesh. Then I adjust the location a bit and extrude them downwards by pressing the E key. Okay, then Ctrl left click onto the mesh that I want to slice. And then press Escape to get rid of the primitives. And here we have the sliced objects. And then I go to edit mode, select the upper faces and move them upwards. Okay, then I press the I key to add a small inset. I press E to extrude, and then I can move these faces a bit to the inside. Perhaps a bit more to the inside. And that's okay, and we can start creating the tubes. And for this I need a very simple geometry. Just a few edges, so I go ahead and kind of steal these edges. I select them and press D to duplicate, and then the P key to turn this into a separate object. So we can select it in object mode now, but the origin is off. So with the object selected, I choose origin to geometry. Okay, now I move it to the location where it fits to the connector that we created. Like that, and then I go to vertex selection and select this vertex. And then I press Ctrl Shift and B to add a small bevel. Okay, I think 2 segments are enough. We could add a bevel to this one as well, but yeah, we will see. Alright, and now I use again the JMesh Tools add-on to turn this mesh into a curve. Just click this button, and now we have a very big curve. I assign a steel material, and then I go to the curve panel and decrease the depth. For this circle we can try 10 to 12 millimeters. And yeah, this looks pretty good. Then I go to edit mode and we select these points here of the curve. And now I adjust the location by pressing the G key followed by X and Z. So this looks nice, but we have to cut a hole into the green part where the curve is intersecting. And for this I use again the primitive mode with a circle primitive, and the operation are set to difference. I start here so that we have the right orientation of the circle that is adjusted to the mesh, and then I move the circle to the location where I want to cut into the mesh, and I keep the mirror for the y-axis activated. I press S to scale it again, and then we can extrude it to the inside and cut into the mesh. I have a bevel modifier activated for the green part, and the add-on takes this into account and reapplies the bevel. And now we just have to mirror this part to the other side, but for the y-axis, not the x-axis. And the shading doesn't look too good for the curves, so I convert it into a mesh and fill the caps. That's better, but I'm still not happy with the part at the bottom. I think I will go to edit mode, select this edge, and press Ctrl and B to add a bevel. Okay, that's good. Now I symmetrize this to the other side, to the positive y-axis, and we are done. That's it. So guys, I really hope the question is answered how to create parts like that, and you can use this for your own meshes. And again, here my advice for very detailed, professional hard surface modeling. Check out the courses by the Blender Pros. The link is added to the description below. So if you liked the tutorial, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Support me by being my patron, and I see you in the next one here on Jayanam.